This is Eduardo Corassa from Saúde Frugal speaking, and now I'm proudly and honored to introduce Dr. Douglas N. Graham. He's the father of the frugivore movement in the world. He's the one of the leaders authorities in raw foods, and he has coached Martina Navratilova, Demi Moore, and so many other professional athletes and celebrities that I can't even count. So, with no further delay, the man who set me in the best path I could think of in my life and who gave me a new life, new health, a, literally a rebirth, Douglas Graham. Uh,
It's a pleasure to be here.
Can you introduce yourself for us?
I can, but you did so well. Thank you. I've always been interested in health. I've always been interested in nutrition. I think it's normal to be interested in food, but I've always been interested in food too. And I've done sports my whole life. Many things for fitness, but a lot of sports. And in the last few years, I haven't done as much sports, but I've continued doing things for fitness. And I'm finding that to be great fun as well. I have medical training as a chiropractor. I've run thousands of people through supervised fasts. And as you say, given 10,000 lectures on health to various groups around the world over the last 30 years. So it's been a lot of fun. And I think that's an important part of having a healthy life. I count my blessings. And I'm continuing to be excited about what I'm seeing happen in the what was the raw food world has really changed to become an 80-10-10 world. The raw food movement has essentially died out. No more raw food events, no more festivals. Most of the leaders have gone back to eating cooked food. I think primarily because they were trying to not do 80-10-10, whereas 80-10-10 is growing and growing. And so now there are, well, this year I believe there'll be 7 different 80-10-10 festivals around the world that I'll attend, and next year probably 10, and then from there we'll see if it just keeps growing.
Nice. Good work, and the truth results in always proliferation, right? So,
well, I think so. I think you can't keep if it's working, it's very hard to keep it a secret.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. So what led you to natural hygiene? I know that you don't use the word natural hygiene usually, but...
Well, I mean, I use hygiene and the concept of natural hygiene I agree with. Really what led me there was nothing else worked. And I felt that over time, I'm sure as many people have, that over time you try this, you try that, you try the next thing. You know, it's like if you lose your car keys, you just keep looking until you find them. And I was looking for exceptional health. I was looking for a diet that made sense. I wanted to have the best in sports performance. I was looking for clarity of mind. And I just kept looking and looking and looking until, and not only just looking, but also trying things. I mean, I tried vegetarian, I tried macrobiotic, I tried vegan, I tried just eating out of health food stores. I tried all sorts of different ways. And then eventually, when I had tried what I think was everything else, I eventually said, well, I wonder what would happen if I just tried living healthfully. Just let's find out about living healthfully, getting enough sleep and getting regular activity and And it just made sense. And eventually someone said to me, that's called hygiene. You can find out more about it. There's books written about this. So I started to learn about it. That was almost 35 years ago, and I haven't looked back since.
For me, it has been 7 years and a half, and I haven't looked back since as well. Why a frugivore diet instead of a living food diet?
A living food diet. Well, I think living food diet. Well, first of all, I chew my food well enough so it's not very alive by the time I'm done. But I think living food implies somehow that the food had parents and it could make babies and it's alive in that sense. And that's not really what I'm doing. Most of the food that I eat is the support system for the part that lives. So if I eat an apple, I don't typically eat the seeds. The seeds are the part that had parents and will make babies. The apple itself is just the food for the seed. And it's the come on, it's the packaging, it's the part that draws attention to the creatures that might eat the food so that we can move the seed away from the mother plant. Oh, if it's lettuce leaves, again, the part of the lettuce that reproduces is the flowers that eventually develop seeds. And I don't tend to eat the lettuce seeds, I eat the lettuce leaves. So is it alive? I think it's an interesting question. It's sort of like asking, is your finger alive? Is your blood alive? Well, not really. You're alive. And your parts only, they support that. In and of themselves, they could not live. So I don't think the criteria is necessarily that it has to be living food. And certainly there are many things alive that I would not eat. I don't want to eat poison ivy or plants that irritate me. I don't want to eat cockroaches, whether they're alive or not. So it's very much the diet that if we look at 10 or 12 different primates, they all eat fruits and vegetables. Mostly fruits for the smarter ones, and mostly vegetables for the ones that aren't as intelligent. We're classed as primates, and we consider ourselves to be one of the smarter primates, and it would make sense that we would eat primarily fruits and all the vegetation we care for.
Okay. So how long have you been thriving on raw, fresh, ripe, organic fruits and vegetables?
Well, I first coined the phrase whole, fresh, ripe, raw, organic plants as a description of what I was doing about 30 years ago, maybe 29 years ago. And what I was looking to do was to describe the quality of the food on my plate. Eventually, 27 years ago, I shot a video using that exact phrase as the way of determining the quality of the food on your plate. So you get a star if it was whole food, and you get a star if it was fresh, and a star if it was ripe, and a star if it was raw. And so you could, there's a concept in hotels and restaurants that they call the 5-star being the best. And so I wanted to do that same thing with our eating habits and call it 5-star dining. And so we could do 5. You get a star if it's whole, star if it's fresh. And it's a way to rate the quality of your food and to see where do you need improvement.
Nice, nice. It's intelligent and it works, right? So
It's very simple and it works. And for me, I'm always looking for the simplest, for the streamlined. I'm very fascinated by the concept of lowest common denominator. And if you can express something in a simple way, as long as it's still true, but if you can express something in a simple way, it usually means you understand it quite clearly. And when you say, oh, well, this is very complicated, let me try to explain, it's usually because you don't know how to explain.
and so just to make it clear for people to know how many years exactly you have been eating raw fruits and vegetables. For sure, you didn't know about 80-10-10 back then. You didn't know the
No.
concepts. You didn't define it. But most of your diet have been like fresh fruits and vegetables for how long now?
Well, I started out eating a very standard American or standard Western diet, eating dairy and meat several times per day, but along with a lot of fruits and vegetables. And eventually, as I went through various dietary changes, I came upon the concept of eating more raw food. And finally, in the late 70s, so we'd say about 35 years, um, I finally said, I need to eat a lot more raw food. I did not commit to the idea of eating all raw food until about 30 years ago.
Nice.
And I didn't succeed with that for another 5 or 6 years. So it's only been about 25 years that it's been a successful program where I could just keep eating whole, fresh, ripe, raw, organic plants and be very happy eating an all raw diet. It took some searching.
Nice. But 25 years, wow. Uh, it's almost my entire life. So what and how much did you weigh today? Approximately, right?
What did I eat today? Or
Yeah.
did I weigh today? Which?
Eat. How
What did I
much
eat?
and what?
Yeah,
Sorry,
what did
my
I eat?
Brazilian
Oh,
English.
no, that's okay. I'm, I don't know if that today was hmm, today we had an interesting thing this week. I couldn't do my normal shopping this week. Just the nature of the way things turned out. I had to kind of go around the normal this week. And so um, today for my lunch, I don't generally eat when I first wake up. I generally enjoy not eating for at least a few hours and getting some work done and take the dog for a walk and be a bit active. So it's usually close to lunchtime before I eat. At that point, I've been I'm eating very simple lunch usually. It's just fruit. Sometimes I might have some celery or lettuce or cucumber, but today was just fruit. I just ate bananas until I was satisfied. I I can't tell you how many today because I didn't count. I didn't know I was supposed to count today, but it's generally around 16 or 17 bananas. But if they're small, it might be 20, you know. And after I've done that, I'm quite happy. I'm not thinking about food again for at least 4 or 5 hours, so I can do other things, which I had to run some errands and hop on my bicycle and do a few things. And, there's always more to do, right? So I got done what had to be done and did some typing. And when it was dinner time, I had, how much? Again, I didn't count the volume. I had almost 3 liters of a drink that was just a blend of orange and mango. And usually I have at least 2 liters, but today I was really wanting more. So I had 3 liters of this blend. of orange and mango. So it's a thick drink. And I took my time about that. And then after that, I had what would we call it? I'd call it a slaw, really, more than a salad tonight. Um, there's a little bit of cabbage, a little bit of celery, a little bit of zucchini, a little bit of carrot, celery, zucchini, courgette, um, cabbage. Was there more in it than that? Tomato and avocado. Mash that all together into something that looked, I shredded it all quite much with a S-blade on a food processor so that it came out like a slaw. And there's a lot of colors. It's last night was tomatoes and cucumbers, and tonight I wanted something a little more rich, so I used the heavier vegetables tonight. And that's all it took. I mean, I was very happy with just that.
Approximately 4 kilos of food, five,
4 or 5 kilos of food in the day.
yeah, in the day.
Oh, um, 3 to 5 bananas in a kilo, 6 bananas in a kilo.
I don't know. Here would be 10 bananas a kilo, without
Ten
the peel,
bananas.
right? Without the peel.
Ah, okay. Without the peel, yeah, maybe 10. So maybe 2 kilos of bananas, and um, each liter of drink is a kilo. So that was 3 liters.
Five.
Before the salad had to weigh somewhere between 1 and 2 kilos. Yeah, so at least 7 kilos of food, I would say, for the day.
Wow. Uh, so tell me, can you comment briefly about your daughter experiencing perfect health on a low protein diet, on exclusively protein from fruits and vegetables?
Um, Actually, I don't think there's a lot to comment. I think the comment is that she hasn't been sick. She's had a runny nose now and then when her teeth came in or something like this, or if she got incredibly tired for a few days, she'll sometimes let herself get really tired. But I think the thing that's most notable is how satisfied she is. And people say, oh, doesn't she want what everybody else eats? And actually, no, she's very happy with her food. And she knows that she likes her food and that fruits and vegetables keep her healthy and happy and satisfied. And, and I don't really think there's a lot more to say. Um, Maybe I'm missing the point, but to not have ear problems and to not have congestion and not be overweight and to have boundless energy and not be sick. I mean, it's a brilliant thing. It makes parenting a lot easier when your children are healthy.
I can imagine. Just to clarify to people that babies do grow normally on fruits and vegetables. It's not, they don't fear like, oh, should I give fruits and vegetables to them? But
Oh no. I mean, she's super smart and super athletic and grows as pretty much like all of her friends. Um, she's not the biggest girl in the group, but she never was. I mean, she was only 2.5 kilos when she was born. So a lot of babies are born bigger than that, and they would tend to be bigger. But I'm not a real big guy. So, but she's growing with her peers, and she exercises with her peers or better, or plays with the older kids when she does dance or gymnastics. She's keeping up with kids older than herself. So I'm very happy with her development.
for sure, size and weight is not health, right? It doesn't equate to health.
No.
Long, long living societies are usually slim and small. But so, can you I always I have always been asked about B12 because it has been 7 years and a half that I live on fruits and vegetables, and I don't supplement. What's your take on that?
Well, I think my take on supplements is the same, um, no matter which nutrient we wish to ask about. If you show deficiency symptoms and it's some life and death kind of a situation or possibility of a permanent impairment, by all means supplement to buy time in order to find out what's really wrong and what's causing that to be wrong. Um, we don't know what normal B12 levels are because B12 is added to so many foods that most people are supplementing with B12 every single day. We can't call their levels normal because they supplement in their breakfast cereal, they supplement in their breads, they supplement in all sorts of um, pastries and grain-based foods. So it's not really fair. Even the chicken and the cows and the pigs get B12 injections so that when we eat their flesh, we're again supplementing our diet with B12. We can't know what normal levels are for people who are supplementing all the time. So I have no reason to suspect deficiency. But if a person goes deficient, well, let's help them with their problem and then look at what happened that made them go deficient. So really, whether it's iron or B12 or vitamin A or whatever the hottest, newest worry is, I would say, well, if you're not openly showing deficiency symptom, let's look at B12 deficiency symptoms. You're going to feel tired. You might feel paranoid. You start losing memory. You get fingers and toes tingling. You tip your head down and you get a jolt up and down your spine. You feel an electric jolt. You have trouble with balance. If you're having no B12 deficiency symptoms, what's the point of supplementing? How does it help you to supplement if you're not going to? Personally, I think supplements are overplayed. I think supplements are promoted by people who aren't promoting a healthy diet. If the diet is fully nutritious, then there's no need to supplement at all. But it's not just food. When I say the diet, it's really the diet and the lifestyle. Most people have B12 problems, have those problems because they're not absorbing B12 properly. And that's usually an emotional issue, a stress issue, having to do with, how you perceive your life and your world, how much stress do you take on in your gut.
Yeah, like natural hygiene suggests, nutrition, like Herbert Shelton usually suggests, nutrition and food is not synonymous. So people should look at
Well,
the
no,
whole lifestyle.
everybody knows we get our vitamin D from the sun and we get our B12 from microbes, and there are many nutrients that aren't even related to food. And even the ones that are, it's very often not about just the food, but the relationship of that nutrient to another nutrient. You can't just look at food. You can't isolate your health into individual parts. It would be like, saying, well, I'm super fit, so I'm very well nourished. No, it won't work. Got to look at the bigger picture.
True. So can we do quick answers like what's your best fruit, favorite fruit?
The one that's ripe in my hand.
Okay, best vegetable, favorite vegetable.
It's tough, but I really do like celery a lot.
Favorite nut or seed?
Hmm. I would have said Brazil nut, except just 2 days ago I had my first almond of this year, and it tasted so good that I might be tempted to say almond.
Okay, best raw dish.
Although, although I'm really fond of sesame seed.
Sesame
I
seed?
think I'd go. I think I'd go with sesame seed.
Sesame seed? Wow. Okay, so best raw dish.
One apple, two dates, three bananas, or two apples, four dates, and six bananas, or three apples, six dates and nine bananas. Put in a food processor with the S blade, and then just break it down a little bit so the apple pieces are still there. The banana goes mushy. The dates are mixing in rather well. If I was going to make a dish, say, favorite dish, that would be it.
Nice, nice.
Eat it like porridge.
I tasted it a few times after reading your veg source post. It's pretty good. I have to
It's
admit.
perfect. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
So where can people find your books? Find
Although you have to weigh that against cucumber noodles. Just plain cucumber noodles is something I like a lot.
I have to say the same. So where can people find your books, your consultations, your work, your website?
Well, they can find everything else on my website. I mean, they can certainly go to my website to find books and consults and information, free information, lots of articles. The website is Food and Sport, the word food, the letter N, and the word sport. So if you typed in 10 letters, food and sport, then you're well on your way. And on foodandsport.com, you can find out about the events we run. We run a ladies physique week. We run health and fitness week, fundamentals in health and fitness. I run culinary school course that we can offer a 1 week and a 3 week program in culinary skills. We're offering emotional program called Banana Island, all sorts of opportunities. And even this year, we're offering several sessions due to the demand. We're offering what's called an 80-10-10 basic skills for people who are just trying to learn how to embrace the 80-10-10 lifestyle.
Nice. I have been to one and I recommend. Sure.
Yes, it was fun to have you there.
Hope to early being more of your events, Doug. So it was a really a good pleasure to have you here, for you to donate your time for us to spread the word here in Brazil. I really enjoy the time. I really admire you. You know that I'm a biggest fan. I hope you have been thriving. I desire you and your work to keep growing, and you and your family to be truly happy.
Well, thank you very, very much, Eduardo. It's lovely to see you doing so well. I know you're being very creative and putting out books and recipe guides, and that's exciting. And I wish you the same, every success in all your endeavors. I know if you're healthy, you can then do whatever it is you want to do. So I wish you a whole bunch of health.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank,
Take care.
thank you.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Good night.
Bye.
Perhaps you're just starting a raw food diet and you're looking for tips and recipes to succeed. Or maybe you're an athlete looking to reach new levels in your pursuit of fitness. Or if your goal is simply to experience the highest expression of your health. It's simple. 80-10-10 is the answer. It's your guide to looking, feeling, and performing your best. Visit foodandsport.com now and pick up your free gift, which will have you on your way to understanding and using the 80-10-10 diet.